Let me see. Everything looks fine here. Today's reading is called Imagine That. And of course, once again, it's taken from the Science of Mind magazine daily guides, just in case there's anyone who comes across it who didn't happen to know that. Everything's written in the description if you want to read that, actually. The first quote is, I feel kind of odd reading it because it's actually a line from a song that I'm very familiar with and I've actually used sometimes when I've been giving talks at Creative Life Spiritual Center. And it's from John Lennon, Imagine. And it's imagine all the people living life in peace. You say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I wish I could sing that, but if I did, it wouldn't be the most pleasant thing in the planet. And then the next quote is from Ernest Holmes, from the Science of Mind textbook, actually, which says, creation is the play of life upon itself through divine self-imagination. In other words, it's the mind of all there is playing life through itself because it's all there is. And is that easy to imagine? No, because if you're trying to imagine something that's infinite, you really can't do it. And this is from Eugene Holden. He says, there isn't anything that does not come from the realm of imagination. The beautiful thing about this is that what we imagine will in fact be. With a little faith backed by action, we can bring about what we imagine. He says, how many times have you heard the Bible passage in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 11, verse 24, quote, pray believing that you have so that you may receive, unquote. Or the Buddhist saying, quote, what we think about, we become. He says, this is so because we're surrounded by an infinite intelligence, a thinking substance that responds to our thoughts and to our feelings. Imagine being, doing, and having whatever you desire. Imagine your world filled with peace. Imagine all of your needs being met. And now he says, imagine that for everyone else who comes into your conscious awareness. Because of our interconnectedness, it is absolutely possible that the world can share in your imagination. Your imagination is powerful. It is the creative faculty of your life. Use it to bring about a life with peace, love, and grace. Your life is the awesome life of God, and there is nothing that can keep you from experiencing the highest and the best. He ends with saying, now imagine that. Well, is it as simple as that? Well, the answer is yes and no. And how can it be yes and no? It can be yes and no because it depends on your level of belief. It really depends how strongly you believe in something. And as we've often said many, many times, belief is thought plus feeling. And when that is strong enough, and there's no doubt whatsoever in your mind that something that you're imagining is going to happen, then it will happen. The question is, will it happen exactly as you imagine it? Well, the answer is, once again, yes and no, it can. But it's complicated because imagine a whole bunch of people wanting something that's identical for each of them, exclusive to everybody else. Well, it's obviously not going to happen in a universe like this. So I guess the answer to that will be the person whose belief is strong enough will receive what is ever nearest to what's in their imagination. But the real answer is Einstein said that imagination is more important than knowledge. And Jesus kept telling us over and over again, many times, not just the quote from Mark there, but also, it's done unto you as you believe. You know, it's done unto you as you believe. The way that I use this, and I learned this from Bob Proctor, the late great Bob Proctor, he died a couple of years ago. He was my first real mentor. He said, and it was repeated by several of his disciples, he said, always end by saying this or something better. So let me explain that. Supposing you want a house and you've driven past this house umpteen times and you want that specific house. But there's somebody living in there and they don't want to move. So for you to have that house, it would have to come about that they would have to move. No, it may just be that they're intending to move anyway, but it may be that they have no intention of moving. So it's obviously not realistic for you to want something that might be to somebody else's detriment. What do? You, in your imagination, create the thought and the feeling of a house just like it, in a situation just like it. And then you said, this is something better. And the house that you end up with, trust me, when you do that and you're prepared to let it go to the divine mind to produce the answers, will be the perfect house for you. And it could very well not be the one that's in your imagine that you saw physically, but it's going to be the best one for you. But to get back to is it possible? Yes, it is possible. You know, when I was in ministerial school and I was taking a class which was related to quantum theory and so on and quantum collapse, and somebody was saying, well, what happens if everybody wants the same thing? Well, the answer was that the mind of the universe, the divine mind, you know, is the ultimate thing that sorts these things out. And that everybody, if they're prepared to say this and so, or something better, will get exactly what's right for them. But there's got to be some kind of sorting out at some stage in the proceedings, but that's probably getting too complicated. Bottom line is, if you imagine something strong enough with faith, with belief, with great feeling, it's going to come about. And the best way to do it is to say this or something better. So that's how I see this. And the other thing that Holmes always stressed was, don't just imagine good things for yourself, imagine it for other people. So when we use spiritual mind treatment, which is praying for ourselves and other people in this manner, then that's how we do it. We see and know the very highest and best, the persons that we're praying for, and things always work out for the best. And the affirmation is, I'm the instrument of love. In my imagination, I see a world filled with peace. So obviously, this affirmation is toward a better world, but it's using the same principles. It's using thought plus feeling, and it's applied to a world that is better and works for everyone. So hope that makes sense. The class starts tonight in 1 hour and 20 minutes, approximately. And if you still want to sign up for it, you still want to get involved in it, the information should be there. Let me just have a look. It should be there. Or just text 832-271-0717. 832-271-0717. And I will send you the information to get in on the class and also how to get the workbook. And if you miss it this week, you could still join next week, because this week is a general introduction, and anybody who misses it, I can always help them catch up. So remember, I'm always tomorrow morning, 9:15. I'll be back around about 5 tomorrow evening. So until then, namaste.